Man, that's a great question. How do I get motivated to keep getting better on guitar? It's so easy. It's something that we all struggle with, right? All guitar players, we struggle. We get frustrated. We get to a point where maybe we're learning something and we just hit a roadblock, or we just can't pull something off, or our fingers won't cooperate, or like our brain and our fingers just aren't cooperating. There's a misfire, or maybe our fingers aren't strong enough yet, or maybe we're just not understanding something, etc. Either way, man, guitar gets frustrating. Let's just be honest. It gets frustrating, right? Having guidance and having a stair-step system to follow obviously clearly eliminates 98% of the frustration that you would experience otherwise. But either way, dude, it's playing guitar. It can be frustrating, period. We need to just acknowledge that. So how do you keep motivating yourself? Now, I can't tell you how many guitar players I've talked to, and I'm included in this category. I can't tell you how many guitar players I've talked to who tried to play for a little while and maybe they just got stuck. Maybe they never really progressed and they just plateaued or just hit a wall with their progress. And like, man, at that point, when you just can't figure it out, maybe you're trying to learn some theory, or you're trying to learn, like, how do I get to that next level? You just can't figure it out. You might sit down to practice and you might have limited time, and maybe you just don't know exactly what to practice. Or maybe you do try to practice something new, but it's just tough and you can't break through. You can't seem to get past to that next level, and you wind up playing the same old stuff over and over again. It gets so frustrating. So how do you motivate yourself to keep going? And I think that's actually kind of a trick question, because I would say that you don't motivate yourself. That's the key. Most guitar players try to motivate themselves to keep going, and it doesn't work, because your own motivation can only take you so far. A car with a gas tank can only go so far before it runs out of gas. And if there's nothing to refuel the tank, you can't go anywhere. You're stuck. And most guitar players, they run out of gas and they can't go anywhere. And it's unfortunate. It's the truth. So as far as motivation goes, there are a few key elements to being motivated from an external source, where you don't have to actually do anything, where it doesn't take effort on your part to be motivated, because it motivates you on its own. The first thing is, be around other guitar players who encourage you and support you, and who you also see struggling and making progress. There's a couple of things that happens, right? Number one, you realize that it's not just you who's struggling with these issues, right? It's not just you who's going through these struggles, who's having a hard time of it, or it takes a lot of effort, to get to the next level or to progress, right? Everybody goes through the same thing. So just seeing other people who are along the journey with you, just like anything else, like when you were a kid playing with your friends, everything's more fun with friends, right? So for the first lesson there is just have friends, have guitar playing friends. And I don't mean like in your local area or, in your neighborhood, online. Have a community, join a community where there are other guitar players who are wanting to progress. Hopefully they're learning the same things that you're learning. So you can talk back and forth, and they can help you overcome the same obstacles. They can help answer your questions, etc. And that's another thing. Just by being around other guitar players who are positive, who are focused on growth, who are focused on helping you, you're going to be also able to help them. So there are going to be other people. Once you start leveling up your guitar playing, you start getting better. You're going to see those other people who used to be where you were, and you're going to be able to start helping those people. And it's fulfilling, man. There's nothing more fulfilling than helping other people, period. But when we're talking about guitar, in my mind, there's nothing more fulfilling than helping other people express themselves, on musical instruments, specifically guitar. We all love guitar. We wouldn't be here. Another thing about being part of a positive guitar community, community of guitar players, is that you also see the people who are way ahead of you, or maybe just a little bit ahead of you, or maybe way ahead of you, right? But the point is, you actually see that it's possible. They say seeing is believing. And I believe that to a large extent, that when you see other guitar players who maybe were struggling at some level, and then all of a sudden now they're playing at a different level, you see that it's possible. Or you see other guitar players who are playing something that you want to play. Or let's say maybe they learned a scale and they're starting to improvise, and they make a video of themselves improvising over a backing track. and they're playing, and some of the right notes, maybe it's not perfect, but some of the right notes that they're playing just feels so good, just sounds so good. But that's just encouragement to know that you can do that. You can get there. Seeing is believing. If you see it, you know you can get to that point. And that just causes an upward spiral. So you continue to go up and up and up, and you get better. You feel motivated. You feel like you want to pick up your guitar. If you go to work, you think about guitar. When you're at work, you want to pick it up. You want to practice. You might even practice like on your leg or on your arm, like you're playing a guitar, writing something on a piece of paper. Or, if you're retired, maybe you go play golf, or you're hanging out with friends, or whatever. You think about the guitar, and it creates that itch where you just want to go pick it up. You just want to get back to the community. You just want to play with your friends, see what they're up to, see who has a new guitar, see who's progressed, see how good you can get in the hour that you have to practice. That's where the motivation comes from. That's where the most motivation comes from. Another thing that I would say is that listen to music that inspires you. In conjunction to, I think we all do that, right? We're all musicians. We all like music. We're all here because we want to play music. We all love music. We love listening to it. So I think most of us probably already do that. But listen to more music that inspires you. Listen to more artists. Listen to more players that you want to play with, or not play with, play like, that you like the style of. That the more you learn, the more you can actually hear what the players are doing. Or when you see them play, the more you learn, let's say about scales or chords or whatever it is, the more you can actually see what they're doing, and you can actually start learning just by watching what they're doing. Like, oh, they're using the pentatonic scale here. That's easy. I can do that, right? I just learned the pentatonic scale. That's super easy. You can totally do it. But it just creates all of that together, just creates an upward spiral where you learn, you have guidance. That's a key point as well, is that if you can see a path, if you have a path, if you have guidance, if you have somebody to tell you, here's the first step to take, here's the second step to take, here's the third step to take, it's cool, you're going to make it. You're going to make it on the first step. You're going to make it on the second step. We're going to make sure that you make it on the third step. That's motivating because you have a path, you have a goal, and then you have a community of people who encourage you, who inspire you, who you can see, because you can see it, you can believe that you can get to that point. It builds that belief in you, that it builds that fire. It makes you want to pick up the guitar. It makes you want to think about guitar more. It makes you think about like how good you can get, right? It expands your own vision of how good you can get, which is way, 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 way farther than you ever thought. You can get so much better than you probably ever thought possible. And then again, listening to your favorite artists, listening to those guys that inspire you, or guys or girls that inspire you. Listen to the artists that like you love the style. It doesn't have to be guitar. It can be singing. It can be violin. It can be trumpet. It can be saxophone. Doesn't matter. Vibraphone. It doesn't matter. Just listen to something that inspires you. Having all of those elements together. We have the phrase that greater than the sum of its parts. When you put all those parts together, something amazing, something magic happens. That motivation just comes. The growth just comes. The excitement just comes. You just want to pick up the guitar. You're just getting better. It almost feels like you're getting better without even touching the guitar, literally. Like you're getting better just thinking about it. Just watching people play, you're getting better because you're understanding more. You're seeing more possibilities. You're seeing more ideas. And again, the question was, how do I get motivated to keep learning, to keep progressing on guitar? Do those things. Do all those things. And I guarantee you the whole will be so much greater than the sum of its parts, and it will be so magical.